Hello and welcome. If you are heading to a German university, or maybe you're already right in the middle of it, you know that speaking the language of academia is an absolute game changer. So today, we're going to build your ultimate toolkit, the 20 German verbs that will take you all the way from your first registration day right through to graduation.
All right, let's just dive right in. I want you to think of these verbs as your linguistic compass. They're going to guide you through every lecture, every library session, and every late-night cram session. Getting these right isn't just about learning a language. It's really your first big step towards academic success in Germany.
So we're going to follow the logical path that pretty much every student takes. We'll start with those first steps on campus. Then we'll get you set up with the core daily study toolkit. After that, we'll move into how to engage with all the new ideas. And finally, we are going to sprint across that all-important finish line.
Okay, your journey starts right here with sich, anmelden. This is basically your first administrative hurdle, registering for your courses. Now, that little word sich is a huge clue. It tells you it's a reflexive verb, meaning you're literally signing yourself up. And here's a little pro tip. N is what's called a separable prefix, which is why in that example sentence, ich melde mich für den Kurs an, it jumps all the way to the end.
So once you're all signed up, what are you actually there for? Well, you're there to studieren. This is the big picture verb. It's all about your major, the main subject you're enrolled in. So if someone asks what you do, you'd say, ich studiere Informatik or ich studiere Medizin. It's basically your academic identity.
Now, let's clear up a classic point of confusion. What is the difference between studieren and lernen? Well, you studieren computer science for 3 years, but you learn for your exam that's next week. See the difference? Lernen is that hands-on, day-to-day action of hitting the books and actually absorbing the material. So just remember, studieren is the major, but lernen is the mission.
And of course, a huge part of lernen is lesen, to read. You're going to be doing a lot of it, from super dense textbooks to articles online. Oh, and by the way, the past participle is gelesen, a really straightforward, absolutely essential verb for your academic toolbox.
And the other side of that academic coin? That would be schreiben, to write. This is how you're going to communicate your thoughts, whether you're crafting a formal essay, that's an Aufsatz, or just shooting an email to your professor. Its past participle is geschrieben.
But hold on, before you can write a great paper, you have to recherchieren. This is not just a quick Google search, okay? This is the verb for digging deep into sources, gathering all your data, and really laying the groundwork for your term paper or your Hausarbeit. It's all about becoming a detective in your field of study.
Academic life isn't just reading and writing, though. You have to üben, to practice. This is the verb for active repetition. It could be drilling German grammar, solving complex math problems, or running through experiments in the lab. Practice is how theory turns into a real skill.
Okay, so after you've learned something and you've practiced it, the next critical step is to wiederholen. This means to repeat or to review the material. This is how you fight that forgetting curve and make sure that knowledge is locked in your brain for the long term. You review den Stoff, the subject matter.
You know, sometimes just reviewing isn't quite enough. You need to commit things to pure memory. That's when you auswendig lernen, to learn by heart. This phrase is going to be your best friend for vocabulary lists, historical dates, or scientific formulas.
Now, to make any of this happen, you need a certain superpower. It's called sich konzentrieren. And look, there's that reflexive sich again. You have to actively focus yourself. In a world that's just filled with distractions, mastering this verb might just be your most important academic skill of all.
All that focused effort leads to this beautiful moment. Verstehen, to understand. This is that incredible aha moment when a really complex theory finally just clicks into place. It's the journey from ich verstehe das nicht to that amazing, satisfying feeling of jetzt verstehe, now I get it. That is the real reward.
And understanding often comes right after a great explanation. The verb for that is erklären. It's what your lecturer, the Dozent, does at the front of the room, and it's what you do when you're helping out a classmate. A key phrase to learn is, kannst du das bitte erklären? Can you please explain that?
So while your professor might erklären a specific concept in a single class, their overall profession is to lehren, to teach. This is a more formal verb for teaching at a high level, like at a university. Sie lehret Biologie. She teaches biology.
Look, university is not a spectator sport. You are expected to actively teilnehmen, to take part or to participate. And look closely at that example sentence again. Ich nehme am Seminar teil. Just like with anmelden, that little word Teil is a separable prefix that splits off and goes right to the end of the sentence.
A huge part of participating is to diskutieren, to discuss. German seminars absolutely thrive on lively debate. This is where you test your arguments, you challenge your assumptions, and you build understanding together with your peers.
And you know it's coming. Soon enough, you'll be asked to stand up and präsentieren, to present. This is your chance to share your project, your findings, your ideas with the rest of the class. It's a core skill, really, in any academic field.
Finally, as you get more advanced in your studies, you might move from recherchieren to forschen. This is the verb for conducting formal, original research. You know, the kind that actually contributes new knowledge to your field. It's what professors and PhD students do. The noun, by the way, is die forschen.
So, you've registered, you've studied, you've discussed and presented and researched. It all comes down to this, the moment of truth, the exam. And when those results are in, there are really only two verbs that matter. On one side, you've got the goal, bestehen, to pass. The past participle is bestanden. Oh, the absolute joy of hearing, sie hat die Prüfung bestanden. She passed the exam. And on the other side, the one we all dread, durchfallen, to fail. Its past participle is durchgefallen, as in the gut-wrenching sentence, ich bin durchgefallen. I failed. Two little verbs that define the outcome of so much work.
But let's stay positive, you pass. You keep passing every single exam. So what's the ultimate goal here? It is all captured in this one powerful phrase,
einen Abschluss machen. This is it, the final victory, to graduate. This phrase is the culmination of every single verb we've talked about today. Sie hat ihren Abschluss gemacht. She has graduated. This is you crossing that finish line.
And there you have it, your 20-verb toolkit for mastering German academia, packed with pronunciation and grammar tips to get you started, from day one all the way to graduation day. So the only real question left is, which verb will you use first?